Bob Dylan once said, "All I can do is be me," whoever that is. But who exactly is that man? Of course he's Bob Dylan the man, but he's also much more than that. Bob Dylan the musician, and Bob Dylan the American icon. To further delve into the realm of Bob Dylan, one must first look into how he started out. Bob Dylan the man. But it may come as a surprise that he wasn't always Bob Dylan. He was born as Robert Zimmerman in 1941 in a town called Duluth, Minnesota. After Duluth, Minnesota, he moved to a town called Hibbing, Minnesota, which is the town in which he grew up, and according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website, it was a small, tight-knit iron mining community, so it was very small, and that's the kind of environment he grew up in. At 10 years old, he was already playing 3 instruments. He was playing the harmonica, he was playing the piano, and he had taught himself how to play the guitar. Attending high school in the late 1950s, his early influences in music had already started to come out and arise. He really enjoyed musicians such as Hank Williams, he liked Robert Johnson, Roy Orbison, Chuck Berry, and of course, the biggest one was Woody Guthrie, which had the biggest effect on his style and musicianship. After high school, he attended the University of Minnesota, and then in 1961, he made the big move from Minnesota to the Greenwich Village, which eventually would have a huge impact on the way he sounded as a musician. And as a musician, Dylan had a profound influence on the entire realm of music with his groundbreaking sound that included styles of traditional folk and included these new poetic lyrics that had themes and motives such as peace, love, revolution, and social equality. After he'd headwayed and played this folk music for a while with a song called Subterranean Homesick Blues in an album called Highway 61 Revisited, he combined these electric pop sounds of the time with these traditional folk music and created what is commonly known today as folk rock. One of his most popular songs today is of this same variety, Like a Rolling Stone. It's actually considered the best song ever written. But at the time, people hated this. They absolutely hated it. Folk purists hated it. He was booed off the stage multiple times, and on one account, he even had to quit the band. Like, everybody had to get off the stage, and he had to come back out with just him and his guitar and finish the set just acoustic. And according to Robert Chapman's book on guitars, it alienated folk purists. They saw it as a betrayal of tradition. And as big of an impact as this folk music became a part of his life, he hated to be called a folk singer. He much preferred to be called, quote, a trapeze artist. And I'm not sure why this is. Maybe it's because folk music was too simple and he wanted something more complicated. Maybe it was because he saw himself as more of a complicated man than just a folk singer. But I don't know, he liked to be called a trapeze artist. But overall, all he was trying to do was mimic his idols like Woody Guthrie, Hank Williams, and Robert Johnson. Dylan, as many have come to know, was far more than a two-dimensional character. After he moved to the village, he removed himself from his old life, and that's when he became Bob Dylan. He removed that name, Robert Zimmerman, and became Bob Dylan. He tried to remove every part of his old life, and so he created this entirely new persona, which is now known as Bob Dylan. He told people not only that he was just a traveling carny, but he also told them that he had traveled the nation as a hobo, and many more of these extravagant stories that just weren't true at all, but really went along with the persona he built in his new bohemian-type lifestyle. And so where we see the most predominant, iconic American Bob Dylan persona is in his early interviews, most notably his interview with Time magazine in 1965, where he told the interviewer that the truth is just a plain picture. Throughout history, the world has clung to those who are different, to those who push the envelope. To those who make the world their own. No one has ever been more prepared to receive this honor than Mr. Dylan. He once said, "A hero is someone who understands the responsibility that comes with his freedom." Bob Dylan, the man, the musician, the icon, and the American hero.